time to let them know who the boss is. Shit changed quick and they wondering what caused it. Independent pirates turning up the profits. Got a record label in my motherfucking pocket.
So one day I was scrolling through Tracklib and I found this sample called I've Got a Shield Around My Heart by Lillian Dupree. And the second I heard the intro with the male doo-wop vocals, I knew this was something that Mr. B was going to want. I loaded it up into Ableton, put it on the push right here, and I started trying to find some chops. So once I had that, I knew I wanted to find another piece to use. So I kept playing around with the different chops that I had here on the push, and I found these guitar chops. And I came up with this little loop right here. So after I had those two sections, I knew that I just needed to come up with at least either one more section or some form of a variation just to keep things interesting. So I came up with these chops that play in the verse. So once I have those chops in there, I use one of my favorite features in Ableton. It's called resample. So as you can see, this little piece of audio that I use right here, sample -41, that was me resampling all those chops into Ableton. And then from there, as you see above, I took those chops and pitched them up. So the intro now is actually what the original pitch of the sample is, but it's playing back at a different speed. So once I had those samples re-pitched up, I went ahead and went straight to drums because I was cooking this on the spot for Mr. B. So I didn't want to waste time. I wanted to let him get to writing. So the first thing I added was this kick and this clap. I added these hi-hats. So I added an open hat and a steady hi-hat. I wanted some sort of like texture underneath of it that was like a live hi-hat. So I added this loop. I use this one all the time. It's one of my favorites. So here's what that sounds like with the drums underneath it. We added the most important element to this beat and to most people's beats, and it was the 808. And then over the sample with all the drums. So after I had the 808 down and all those drums, we went ahead to the next section, and that was where I had those guitar chops. So I just took that, I threw the same drums that I had over it, and it was working with that. So the only thing I really needed to change was the 808 pattern. And so after I put that in with the guitar chops, I added this percussion loop. And then last but not least, added a little fill. Plays right into the end, and then a cymbal. So here's what the transition of those adds in that guitar section right here. And then in context of the beat, so once we had those two sections built out, I kind of let this loop and just had Mr. B writing to this, and we wrote the song right away.
From the bedroom to the billboard. This was a fun song. I got that line from United Masters, which is a music distribution company. I don't use them, but they were running a marketing campaign about from the bedroom to the billboard, a record label in your pocket. And that was a message that I could get behind. It was one that just resonated with me as an independent artist. So that's what this song is. It's an independent artist anthem. And Austin and I made this remotely. He was in Nashville, I was in Arizona, and we did an audio mover session. He already had the sample, and right as he started adding the drums and the bass to it, I instantly started writing, which isn't always the case. Sometimes we completely finish the beat before I start writing, but this time I instantly just started writing right as he had the drums going, because it just kicked in with such a vibe. And then the message of the song was easy for me to write because it's a message that I can really champion. So this song we wrote like less than an hour. It really came together super quickly, and I love the vibe of it, and I know other people have too. I've had a bunch of my buddies like Clark listens to this song all the time right when he gets in his car, but it's a good vibe. From the bedroom to the billboard.
Yeah, from the bedroom to the billboard. Yeah, from the basement to the Fillmore. I remember when the home record sounded like shit. Nowadays home is where everybody writes it. Back in high school I was passing out CDs. Now I'm getting listeners weekly, easy. Started as a rapper when Sean started Napster, but my story ends happily.